Okay, I think we're about ready to start this morning. Good morning to everyone, and glad to hear that response. Welcome to the Treasure Coast Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Stuart, Florida. Today is Sunday, January 28th, 2024. My name is Janet Rader, and I'm your worship associate for today. We are a welcoming congregation. We welcome people of all gender identities, ethnicities, ages, and backgrounds. We're on YouTube too. Hello, YouTubers. To be put on our email list if you're not already, and to find out more information about us, go to our website, tcuuc.org. Note the email link in the online newsletter. Anyone who has not silenced their cell phones, please do so now. Now is the time to welcome and recognize visitors. We'd love for any visitors to step up to the microphone and introduce yourself. I will start out by saying we have our daughter, Cindy Donaldson from Arizona, where she is a park ranger at the north rim of the Grand Canyon, visiting with us. Thank you, Cindy. Do we have any other visitors? Great. If you would come up, if you feel comfortable coming up to the microphone, that would be wonderful.
Good morning. We're Dave and Cheryl Squires from Northwest Iowa. We're here visiting David's sister. So we've been at this building a couple of times before, but it's been a couple of years. So
before COVID.
Before COVID, yeah.
So we're out traveling again, and we really enjoy being here and enjoying your company. So.
Yeah, we're at a UU fellowship, so this is a better situation.
Well, they're all good. But
they're all good, but fellowships are a little bit hard.
On a sliding scale, you're quite high up.
Any other visitors? Okay. Our announcements, please see the printed order of service and our newsletter for details. Special announcements for today. We will celebrate Phyllis Hall's 99th birthday. After the sermon, we will gather in Heston Hall for a celebration of that. And in addition, after we celebrate the birthday, we will have a brief workshop on Karen's sermon topic today, and that will be at 12 noon back here in the sanctuary. A big thanks to those who helped with the service, Jackie Robbins and Judy Bajoras for the music, our greeters and ushers, and our host, Karina Poloni, and our tech support, Rachel Valentino. Joanne Leone and Marguerite Gregory for the coffee and cake and cookies in our social hall. Karen Olesch is in the pulpit today. And here is our prelude. Thank you, Jackie. And now our chalice, lighting words. We call forth the life of our faith by igniting our chalice. This spark of new beginnings invites us into a sacred space. My opening words come from our immediate UUA past president, the Reverend Dr. Susan Frederick Gray. Now listen to these words really carefully. In these times, it is more important than ever to realize that we belong to each other and we share a responsibility for the conditions and qualities that define our relationships of interdependence across the globe and with our planet. May we continue to turn away from paternalism and toward the practices of humility, solidarity, compassion, and equity in fostering the beloved community in our culture, our tradition, and in our communities. Our first hymn is Blessed Spirit of My Life. If you are able and willing, if you will stand, this is hymn 86, 2 verses. And now our affirmation. Let us recite our affirmation, speaking the first verse and singing the second. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. From every
morning. Good morning. And now it's time for us to share our joys and sorrows. Please step up to the microphone to speak and tell us your name, and Janet will help you to move a stone in our symbolic river of life to mark each of our joys and sorrows. Try to keep it personal and brief.
Good morning. David Blizzard. This week at my condo association, I gave a talk on growing up with history. Hastings, Sussex, England, 1066 and all that, which is where I grew up. And it was a joy.
Wait a minute. I also have a joy. I'm leaving next Sunday for a cruise around South America, starting in Argentina and ending in Chile, and I'm taking Fred with me. But we'll see. ain't that many days in a little room.
And I have a sorrow to share. Oh, go ahead.
Hello, my name's Mark, and my mother's 94, and her health is failing, so I guess this is a sorrow, but more an appeal for information. She's got to go to assisted living pretty soon, and if you guys have any experience with facilities like that, then please talk to me after the service. Thank you.
Yes. You're never too late.
I have 2 tickets free for the Vero Beach Opera Broadway 2 opera next Saturday night. And if anybody would like to have them, I get them free because I sing there. So if anybody'd like to have them, let me know.
And if there's nobody else, I'll share my sorrow. Just, it may be a little premature, but I'd like everybody to keep my father in their thoughts. His colonoscopy did not go as expected, and they were able to remove 10 polyps, but not a larger mass that they found in his colon. So we're waiting to see what the next steps are. He's 75. His 75th birthday was in December. Yeah. Yeah. I can speak a little closer. And for those whose joys and sorrows are too private to share, know that our hearts are with you. Janet, if you can move a stone for them. Thank you. And now we'll just have a moment of silence. And next we have one of our favorite hymns, Spirit of Life. We hum one time and then sing the second. You can stand as you are able or remain seated. next, if you would like to remain standing, we have our hymn, I've Got Peace Like a River, which I think we all know fairly well.
Isn't that later? That's our final hymn? Or would you like to do it now?
That's what it says on my order of service.
It's the offering. It's the offering first.
Okay, we will do the offering first. So we will have an offering if the ushers will step up. Thank you.
Okay. This is the large.
We thank you and bless you for the great offerings you provide. These blessings provide the seeds from which we will continue to grow. Deep listening. Thich Nhat Hanh says that deep listening is the kind of listening that can help relieve the suffering of another person. You listen with only one purpose, to help them empty their heart. As you may know, our Covenant of Right Relations, which is at the bottom of our newsletter each week, if you subscribe to our newsletter, contains 11 statements that were written by the board of our church on how we can build stronger relationships in our beloved community. Today, I want to focus on the first statement, which is listen deeply to what each member says. I want to start here because I think this statement builds the foundation for the other 10 statements. Without learning the art of deep listening, it may be difficult to trust that each person has good intentions, which is our second statement, or honor each other's individuality and uniqueness, which is another one of our statements, or even to support each other in our goals, interests, and dreams, all of which can be found in our Covenant of Right Relations. Without learning how to listen deeply, we can easily get caught up in our ego selves, our day-to-day tasks, problems, and challenges. Deep listening means we need to be able to set those things aside and open the space for others who are communicating with us. Deep listening means that when someone else is talking to us, we are not thinking about how to respond to them, getting caught up in our own emotions, or letting those emotions rise up within us so much that they may become reactive, possibly in a negative way, to what someone else is saying. This can be challenging. It is hard to set all of this aside and truly open up the space for someone else to share. Most of the time, our minds are running wild with thoughts. Yogis, as you probably know, call this the monkey mind. Our monkey minds can hinder our possibility to connect to someone else because we can't hear anyone over the dull roar of all those monkeys. The truth of the matter is, in order to practice our first covenant and listen deeply to others, we must first learn how to deeply listen to ourselves. And then once this practice has begun, we can tame our monkey minds. When our monkeys are quiet and still, we can hear the silence between the thoughts. It is from this place that we can listen deeply to others, and as Thich Nhat Hanh states, help others empty their hearts. Let's give this a try, taming our monkey minds, and do a quick check-in with our monkeys and see where they are today. So if you feel comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes or lower your gaze and look at your knees as we begin to turn inward and watch our breath. First, let's try to tune in just to our breath. Breathe in for 4 counts. Breathe out for 4 counts. Breathe in for 4 counts. Breathe out for 4 counts. Breathe in for 4 counts. Breathe out for 4 counts. As you feel the breath slow, the mind will also slow down. Now I want you to picture yourself in a theater. You're going to sit down in one of the chairs and look up at the stage. On the stage is you. You are both the audience and the actor. Today's play is about you and your mind. I want you to take a few moments to watch yourself in this play and check in with what your mind is doing. I'll be silent for a few moments while you watch yourself perform the play of your life. The play is finished, and you are now ready to bring your awareness back to the breath, breathing in for 4 counts, breathing out for 4 counts, breathing in for 4 counts, breathing out for 4 counts. On the next breath, begin to bring your awareness back into the space where you're sitting, into our sanctuary. Maybe wiggle your fingers and your toes and open your eyes when you're ready. So how did the play go? Was it enlightening? Was it interesting? Were you ruminating and performing the same thing over and over? Was the play a comedy? A tragedy? Just take a few moments to think about what keeps your mind so busy every day. It is this business that we need to set aside in order to listen deeply to others. When I was going through the seminary at the Temple of Kriya Yoga, my teacher told me a story that really spoke to me, and I would like to share it with you. It goes like this. Once upon a yogi time, a guru and his disciple walked into a restaurant and sat down. They both ordered a coffee, and the guru asked the disciple to observe what was going on around him. The disciple was excited to learn what the guru was going to teach, so he began to look around the room. The first thing he saw was a spot of honey on the wall. Interesting, he thought. Next, he observed a bee fly over to the honey. and drink of its nectar. A lizard saw the bee, crawled up the wall, and thought, what a tasty treat. I will eat that bee. As he was eating, a cat spied the lizard and leaped up the wall to try to get the lizard before he could scurry off. Wouldn't you know that this was a dog-friendly restaurant? The dog saw the cat, got loose from his owner and ran across the floor, knocked over the waitress who was carrying a plate of food, and suddenly chaos ensued, all because of a spot of honey on the wall. The guru said to the disciple, "Is the message too subtle?" The disciple stared at him slyly. As you may have guessed, the story is a story about the mind. The honey represents something that attracts our attention. It is at this point that we can decide not to lick the honey. In other words, we do not need to react to what has attracted our attention. We could simply observe the honey and say, isn't that interesting? If we do this, we are controlling our mind. We are setting a healthy boundary with our mind and are deliberately deciding not to engage. This opens up the space we need to hear others. I know most of the time this is not what the mind does. Most of the time we have not set a healthy boundary with the mind. And so we lick the honey, and that begins the ruminations of our mind. And much like the scene at the restaurant, suddenly our minds are caught up in the chaos of our lives. But I ask, if we are caught up in the chaos of our minds, how can we listen deeply to one another? Oscar Trimboli, author of Deep Listening, Impact Beyond Words, agrees and states that there are 5 levels of listening. He believes the world is a noisy place where you fight to be heard every day. Despite the fact that we have been taught at home and at school how to speak, none of us have had any training in how to listen. He says that the first level of listening is to listen to ourselves, which we've just done. There are many ways we can learn to listen to ourselves: meditation, yoga, reflective journaling, and I would love to hear some of the ways you all practice listening to yourselves when we have our workshop later today. The second level of listening is listening to content. When the mind is clear, that opens up the possibility of listening to the speaker's words. When you are listening to the speaker's words, you are in the midst of becoming curious. You have now entered the dialogue. Instead of just hearing, you bring presence into the space. You are interested in the speaker and begin to bring meaningful questions into the conversation. The third level of listening is listening to the context. If you are open to listening to the context, then you understand the big picture. You recognize that all people and all problems are part of a system. The fourth level of listening is to listen to the unsaid. Research shows that most people only speak at 125 words per minute, but their mind is processing at least 400 words per minute. There is a considerable disconnect between what they want to say and what they are actually saying. We need to become aware of what they are actually saying, and we can help the speaker out by asking good, clarifying questions, so that the speaker can become more aware of what they truly want you to hear. This deepens the speaker's understanding of what they are thinking and discussing. The fifth level of listening is listening to the meaning. Content, context, and the unsaid all contribute to the meaning. In a true dialogue, when we are engaged and actively participating, we are making meaning together. This is the place where an understanding of one another starts to develop. It is here that we are connecting and co-creating new meanings, new perspectives, and new ideas. It is here that we are feeling heard. It is here that we feel like we belong and are part of a beloved community. What have we gained by employing deep listening? We have learned to hear ourselves more clearly, and we have learned to hear others with greater understanding. We have practiced our first covenant within our church home and with the congregants we deeply care about and that are a part of our beloved community. From this place, we can move forward into something bigger, the changes we have been seeking in our UU environment. Many people in the UU environment at this church, at other UU churches, in seminary where I'm attending, ministers, and those at the UUA are seeking an answer to the question, where is the diversity in UU congregations? Or how can we grow our community? They feel that we have opened our hearts and minds to accept diversity and that we are ready to grow, yet UU churches continue to be predominantly white. Joy Berry, the children and family faith specialist at the UUA, believes that in order for diversity to happen, we need to take radical responsibility to dismantle white supremacy culture. Berry writes, we need to ask ourselves the following questions. Is the congregation making room for the previously hidden stories of our ancestors of color and the voices of today's Unitarian Universalists of color? Are we supporting Black and brown people in the spiritual work of healing? To answer these questions, we need to apply deep listening. I ask the question, are we truly listening to those voices and what people need from the Unitarian Universalist faith in order to attend and feel included? I do not have an answer as to what our own congregation has done over the years. However, the UUA has published materials on what it would take for our congregations to become even more diverse. The result of their deep listening found that we need to focus on healing in the BIPOC community. Some of the suggestions included to discover how whiteness lives within you, to learn and grow as a faith community, and give presence to voices of BIPOC individuals in our worship services. Create and fund spaces for BIPOC children, youth, and adults to develop spiritually and to directly ask them what they need. Notice white supremacy patterns and move to multicultural values and solutions. Like receive new ideas as gifts and not as problems and recognize multiple realities. Trimboli states, if you are not present and haven't really been listening, you can make the other person feel undervalued or even offend them. We need to consider congregational life through a multicultural lens, and to do this, we might need to grapple with our previously held assumptions on what these voices are really asking us to do. This is the work of deep listening. It is challenging work, but through deep listening, we can ask and answer these questions. Through deep listening, we can go deep within ourselves, practice the art of non-reactivity by setting boundaries with our minds, change congregations, and build beloved community for all that endeavor to participate in our great journey. Today, I invite you to the table and to participate in the practice of deep listening so that we might embody the first statement of our covenant, to listen deeply to what each member says. And I invite you to go beyond this great conversation and listen deeply not only to those who are members of our church, but to everyone who walks through our door to see if they feel they have a home with us. And if they don't, ask them why and listen deeply. This is how we can enact real change in the world. And now I think we will have our song. Please stand if you're able and join me in singing I've Got Peace Like a River, hymn number 100. hopefully everybody feels that they have strength like a mountain. So today, after we finish with prelude and the closing, please make sure to join us for coffee hour and share some cake for Phyllis's birthday. And then at about noon, we'll come in here and I have a short workshop on deep listening. So we will now extinguish the flame of our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Peace be with you, and blessed be.
Cheerful ones. Oh, so each side?